If you knew exactly what they think when you stop caring, you would be focusing most of your energy on learning how to control your emotions. Rather than trying to seduce them, you will focus on creating a system in your life that allows you to manage intense emotions. Because the truth is that your serenity, your detachment, your happiness is what does the dirty work for you. Your tranquility, your non-reactivity, your non-botheredness is what does the dirty work, is what does the game. A lot of people say, how do I get them to like me? What's that move? Truth is, it's not about what you do. It's literally about what you don't do, and it's really about lowering your reactions, not getting so easily triggered. This is why in our lives, most of the people that have liked us, we didn't like them back, right? And we ask ourselves, what the fuck did we do to get them to like us? Well, because you have a certain way that you behave when you don't care about people, that it's really charismatic, and you're just not aware of it, right? And what you don't, and also you may not notice how creepy and needy you act when you like someone, and you might think it's like some magical thing, because it is one of the weirdest things in human nature, that those who don't want us, and when we don't like them, they like us, and as soon as we start liking them, they don't. Like, it feels like God is legit like playing with us, but this is something that's actually very normal and very something that you could explain and something that you can replicate. But the key is to understand that it's not about doing more to do this. Like that's really the difference. When you like someone, you think you got to do so much more to impress them. People's self-esteem is much lower than you think, and they'll fall in love with you for the littlest of things. And because their self-esteem is so low, when you do a lot, it'll turn them off, because they don't think they're worthy of all of that. It's the weirdest thing. That's why this is so important. But this video, we're going to talk about the neuroscience, psychologically in the brain, what they think when you stop caring, right? Because like I said, if you could look inside of their brain, I mean, I'm not kidding, you would literally have all the confidence in the world. Because you'll say they're very similar to me. I thought I was the only needy and creepy one. I thought I was the only one that felt completely nervous and anxious all the time. Well, guess what? They also feel that anxiety. The problem is that a lot of people put up a mask, a veneer of confidence that cracks under pressure. And just a little bit of pressure will make that veneer crack. The problem is that when we really like someone, we go out of our ways to make them feel good. We go out of our ways to not get them to feel insecurity. And so you never see that veneer crack because you're so needy and creepy. You never let them feel insecurity. You never let them sense your absence. You never let them see your dark side. You never allow natural conflicts to arise in the relationship. Not Bronx mode, but natural conflict, right? These are all things that allows you to see the cracks through those veneers. And I want you to understand, we are more similar to each other than different, okay? So even if you think that this person is highly confident, I could promise you most likely that they're not. And there's cracks. And I'm gonna show you exactly what they think when you stop caring, right? Because we've seen this before, right? Well, you're dating someone and everything's good, and they have power over you. As soon as you break up with them, you'll notice that they may even start begging. Or even that job that you think that they don't need you, as soon as you quit, they start calling you back and say, hey, I will give you more money. A lot of us have seen the power and leverage and leaving and walking away, that when you first see it, it's kind of shocking, right? It really is kind of shocking when you first see it, right? So it's almost like, yeah, let me not even go into that, right? Anyways, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org, and there you'll be able to book a one-on-one phone call with me. If you care too much and you want to learn how to let go, well, join our Patreon. There we have a meditation club where we meditate on a weekly basis on Zoom. In that meditation club, I have a bunch of different videos that I upload only on Patreon. And if you don't want to join Patreon, then become a member, and we upload some of those videos here by just becoming a $5 member, right? You can click on the description down below where it says join the Patreon, or becoming a member, and you can get exclusive content. Do that now, or else I'm closing the channel. So the first thing is this, okay, is that when you let go of them, when you manage to let go, what you're actually doing is that you're traumatizing them. Letting go is traumatizing to humans, right? If you think about it, the most painful memories came from letting go, right? I remember when I was a kid, I've never said this, but the most painful memory I have was my mom leaving me. When I was a kid, I was in the Dominican Republic.
and she had to go to New York City to work. I was with my grandma and my sister, and I remember when she left, I remember running at the car, and I had a flower in my hand. And then when I saw the car just get far away, I remember running into my closet and just crying there. I had a little white flower, right? When people let you go, when you feel like you're losing someone, as a human, every human is traumatized by that, right? And the beauty about it, not to me when I was a kid, right? But the beauty about it is that it engages their fight or flight part of their brain. What I mean by that is this. Let's put this right here so that it doesn't, because it seems like it's making me darker. A little racist camera. It engages the amygdala, which is perfect, right? When you let go, what happens when the amygdala gets engaged is that it actually hijacks your frontal cortex, right? It literally hijacks your frontal cortex. It almost blocks it blocks your capacity to use your frontal cortex with rationality. And this is where people make all of the mistakes, right? This is where people start acting super needy. This is where that's the very same person who you thought was confident, all of a sudden doesn't feel confident. All of a sudden, that person that feels completely stable, you see instability. The problem is that we just don't know how to read people right. That's the issue. Like, what the fuck was that? We as humans, we're not good at interpreting weakness because usually we just get stuck in the surface level of things. If you learn how to peel back and read people, you might notice that person who you thought was confident was always drinking. That person who you thought was confident was always shaking their leg. That person who you thought was confident, and their place is super neat and things need to be in a certain place. All of those things leak out insecurity, right? It leaks out disorder on the inside. But we don't notice it because we rather look at the external behavior that doesn't take a lot of effort. But the truth is like, for example, if I'm dating a girl and we had a great date, but then I never hear from her again, right? I might say, oh, she doesn't like me, but also I might say that maybe she's the type of person that lacks intimacy, right? Which usually means a lack of disconnection with yourself, which also means a lack of connection with the family, which also means that maybe they didn't have emotional support as growing up, and these things stay. Right? But if you're in an insecure state, you're always going to blame yourself and say, oh, they're confident and I'm not. When in reality, no, a lot of the times, the people who are avoidant, they lack confidence. They just lack it, right? So it engages their amygdala, which propels them to make mistakes. The frontal cortex goes out the window, right? Because, why is that? Well, because in their minds, the impossible happened, right? The impossible happened. What do I mean by that? Meaning, when you were super needy and creepy, people assume you're never gonna leave them, right? They assume that you're never gonna leave them. That's just how the brain works. The reason why the brain does that is because of fear of death, right? We're unconsciously afraid of death, and if we then, one of the ego strategy to deal with the pain with the fear of death is to assume that everything will stay the same forever. We don't predict change. Right? We hold on to change. That's why addicts are big fans of stability, because what they want to keep the most is the high. But then they're confronted with reality, and that every high arises and passes away. And so so they'll use more drugs in the denial of that reality. This unexpectedness, the fact that they think that you're always going to be, that you're never going to let go, that you're never going to move on, when you finally do, it's like a punch you didn't see coming. Right? It's a punch you didn't see coming. And usually the punches that knock you the fuck out are the things that you don't see coming. And this is why accepting death, accepting the reality that things are gonna end, causes you that if they do walk away, if they do let go, it insulates you from doing needy, creepy stuff. It does, right? But if you're the type of person that cares too much and you wanna learn how to let go, well, I have a little commercial for you in this part of the video. Let's watch it. Are you needy and creepy? Do you have a tough time coming across confident when you like the person? A lot of the times you just don't know what to do. You have habits and patterns that whenever somebody triggers you, you completely forget what to do the right thing. Well, guess what? I have a course for that. And it's called The Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and The Feminine Woman, what I call the fundamentals. All of those courses are meant to eradicate and exercise the needy, creepy parts in you through action. Meaning, you do what the videos say, and without a shadow of a doubt, you actually get the results. You'll notice that men call you back more. Men will want more relationships with you. They're gonna be the ones that are needy and creepy. They're gonna be the ones that want something. They're gonna be the ones that are the aggressors in trying to get a relationship out of you. But the problem is that a lot of people just watch one or two videos and completely forget that there's actually a system. Don't just watch one or two videos. Get the system either by purchasing all of them and get a discount, or purchase them individually. Because a lot of the times, just watching one video in isolation, you actually miss the big picture. You have to understand why it works. You have to understand what to do next. And a lot of times, my videos just can't address that. A lot of people, you see by the testimonies right here, a lot of people have done what those videos say, and they've gotten results. Like the other day, I was in Mexico, and they were like, "Hey, Alexis," and I'm like, "Hey, oh my God, your videos are so great." And I'm like, and she was like, "Look at my kid." I'm like, "What you talk about your kid? That's not my kid." She's like, "No, no, no, because of him, because of your videos, he's here." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's a," but I get that a lot. And ironically, that woman watches all of my videos, right? So purchase those courses, man. And if you don't like it, you actually could get a 30-day money back guarantee, right? Purchase them individually, or get a discount and purchase them all by clicking on the description down below. You have the option of purchasing the one with the bonuses that obviously it's more material, where it's like I give you guys meditations. There's also other courses on how to make friends, how to master anything. Or you could purchase it without the bundle, which is much more affordable, all right? And with that, you guys are able to support my channel, which will allow me to make more videos, okay? Anyways, see you guys inside, and thank you. You see? So another aspect of caring, a lot of the times, one of the ways that manipulators get us to care too much is that they get us to want to change them. So they'll present their flaws as a victim, and you naturally, a lot of times, will try to change them, right? A lot of the times, that's really manipulation. People use their flaws as a way to get you to care. Usually narcissists with empaths, right? I'm like that, right? I'll get attached if you have problems. I'll get attached if there's something wrong. I want to help. That's why I'm pretty good at what I do with YouTube, because people who watch need help, and I like helping you guys, right? But this desire to change people for the better, with our will, with our goodness, with what we know, is something that validates the ego. And manipulators can sense that. When you stop caring, when you say, you know what, I'm not trying to change you. You do crack, I'm trying to help, I'm not gonna try to change you. What they'll notice is that they lose that validation that comes from you caring, right? And what they'll do then is that they'll try to act even more chaotic. They'll act like a lot. That's your sign right there that this person is toxic, man. That's why you can't try to change. You can't change people. Don't try to change people. The next thing is that the chronic stress caused by the misinterpretation of memory. The stress of you letting go, you gotta understand, people can sense that. Like, it's pretty, like, if you ever dated someone and you stop caring, like, people who we date, they could tell when we're like emotionally distant. They can kind of tell, right? They're like, something off with you, Tinquisha? You look a little off, you know? Like, people can kind of tell. And that realization that there's something off creates stress, right? Especially if they feel like you're pulling away. The beauty about that is that it affects their memory. Meaning, if you were needy and creepy and you stopped caring, their memories will misinterpret your needy, creepy energy with you being confident, or with a desire to hug and nurture that needy, creepy side of yours, right? And so and also the way they see you in their minds when you're not there, it literally creates like what I like to call a mental Photoshop. where your smile looks prettier, your teeth are more straightened, right? Everything about you gets photoshopped in their minds because of the stress, right? So their working memories will get fucked and their decision making will get fucked. And that's when you will see that animal side, that creepy animal side, where they can't control themselves. It might even cause you to lose respect for them. And this is my favorite part, is that the brain goes into a nostalgia mode. What do I mean by nostalgia mode? Meaning it's the misinterpretation of the memories, but also enhancement. And and not just that, it lingers on for months. It depends on their trauma, but it lingers for a long time. Usually people like this, people who this works on the most are people who are very romantic, who are very unhappy with their current lives, because then the only way they relieve stress is to think about another moment in time when their life was better. And if you were in there, their brain will literally misinterpret those events. And it'll create a filter. What's a nostalgia filter? Well, literally, just like the fuck. I remember I made a video about that, the nostalgia filter, but that it happens over time, right? If they struggle processing emotion, it's like an automatic thing. Like when you're unhappy with the present moment, the brain just brings up memories and misinterprets them to make you feel happier. It's truly a beautiful thing because it uses that as temporary coping mechanisms when situations are bad. That's why in the book A Man's Search for Meaning, the brain, even if the situation is hopeless, the brain, little ant, the brain will literally create hope out of hopeless situations. It'll literally create hope, but the brain also does that with the past. That it amplifies past experiences if you're not happy with the present moment. If you're not happy with the present moment, it'll exaggerate possibilities in the future, right? And that's usually what happens a lot when you're falling in love with someone. They're acting disinterested, but because you feel so insecure, you're very hopeful that things will work out, despite frontal cortex, despite the evidence that says otherwise, right? People do that out of desperation. They'll do that as their last result, as their Hail Mary. So in the face of the nostalgia, they'll start to make mistakes. They'll start to act needy and creepy. And usually I prefer that you do this. I would prefer that you communicate that you don't care, that you stop caring through your nonverbal cues. You know, it's even more fucked up when you say you do care and then you non-verbally show you don't. Oh my Lord. Because people like consistency. And then they'll do things to get they'll do things to get validation out of you, right? They're like, oh, they say they like me, but they're not showing it. Let me do something to elicit that response. And you might say, damn, this person is acting really interested and I'm acting cold. Well, it's because they're misinterpreting things. They're not in reality. Their brains have been hijacked. They're in a state of stress. Their working memory, they can't trust their working memory, right? And their decision making is fucked. And when they think of you, they don't even think about you. They think about the mind-made version that emanated, that was created from a place of insecurity. Truly, it is a powerful thing, man. Usually, this is something that you want to do through you developing a meditation practice. By you developing a meditation practice, naturally, you're just going to come across as more peaceful. And when you do that, people don't sense coldness from you, but they sense that you're able to let go of them if things don't work out. That pisses off the ego to know that you're going to be happy after we're done. That you're going to talk to your fucking therapist and do things to make you happy without me being there. Because a lot of the times, the love they feel for you, a lot of the times is ego. Like, I don't want you to be happy without me. That's not real love. That's just a person who thinks that they love you when in reality, they just want to control you. All right? I should make a video about that. If you guys want me to make a video about that, they don't really love you, they just want to control you, you just let me know in the comment section down below and I'll do that. Take care, guys.